What's going on? Jerome's Raw Real Garage Rant again. I need to get a sponsor for my garage door insulation. Although, Owens Corning, why is it pink? Doesn't matter. Anyways, so your Minnesota Fighting Vikings need to take a cue from the Minnesota Fighting Timberwolves right now, where I feel like the energy that the Wolves have brought is really amazing. And I say this again, full disclosure, as a Fairweather fan, a Johnny Come Lately, love KG, Marbury, Tom Gugliotta back in the day, Cherokee Parks, shoot, Dean Garrett, Chris Carr, Doug West, and so like you know that meme where it's women complaining that guys can just sit around, drink beer, and name random football or basketball players for hours and drink beer and not even learn each other's names. It's like, yeah, it's exactly what we do, man. Or talk about fancy football. I remember taking David Johnson in 2016. Anyways, but I feel like the culture that the Wolves have brought is amazing, and I think that Minnesota Vikings players, like, they're not stupid, and they fully understand that this has been a competitive rebuild. That's over. Like, this is the team. This is the squad for the next 10 years that could potentially hoist at Jerome a dozen times. And you look at McCarthy, you look at Turner, you look at Jefferson, you look at Addison, you look at Hawkinson, you look at all the young guys in key spots, right? Darisaw too, where they see they see the energy that the Wolves have brought to this state. And Minneapolis is a great sports town. Twin Cities are great sports towns, pun intended, as well as the great state of Minnesota is a great sports state. And don't want to say like people are fair weather fans, but there's always a bell curve. Like, every single team is going to have their hardcore fan base, right? But yeah, with the Wolves, it's been really lean times for a number of years, and respect to the hardcores. But I mean, a lot of people just don't have the bandwidth to support bad basketball. But we're back, baby. We are absolutely back. And I think the Vikings need to learn, be like, hey, you see how good of especially if and when the Wolves do win the NBA title, hoist that Larry O'Brien, and they have that parade in late June, and hopefully some Vikings players will still be around, even though it'll be their true off season. But they show up for the parade, or hell, they just see the parade on the TV or the old Twitter machine and just be like, look how the state turned out. Look at the million people strong in Minneapolis downtown along the parade routes. Just look at that. And this state deserves a winner. Like, I love Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, 2019, he tweeted out, this fan base deserves a winner, and I'm going to bring it to him. Cat was probably the MVP in Game 7. And the whole thing about it is, too, this is such a deserving state. This is such a deserving fan base, especially the Wolves. I mean, like I said, the hardcore fans from way back in the day had put up with some bad basketball. I mean, KG peaked, sure, but then Andre Kirilenko, Rasho Nesterovic, but I feel like the Vikings fans have been through a lot, and it's not as peaks and valleys as the Wolves, because the Vikings have generally been decent to very good throughout the entire time, which may be even more frustrating, because the Vikings have the highest winning percentage in NFL history for any franchise that hasn't won a Super Bowl. Like, in terms of the top 10 winningest franchises in NFL history, the Vikings are the only team who has won a Super Bowl. Or it might be even worse. I think it might even be like top 14. Don't have the numbers in front of me. But I just feel like the energy that the Wolves are bringing, and the precedent, and just like convincing all of these other teams that, hey, it's okay to win in Minnesota. I mean, the Minnesota Lynx started it, and the Wolves are going to run with it. And hopefully the Vikings can absorb some of that good vibes and good juju and be like, hey, the Wolves are a young team. Hey, we're a young team. Hey, the Wolves struggled for a lot of years, and also they turned things around quick. I mean, they talked about getting bounced from the playoffs last year, two years in a row. But overall, like, this is a very young team, with Edwards and Cat, and a couple nice veterans, and Mike Conley, the elder statesman. Rudy Gobert certainly has been around the block too. But you look at Nah, you look at McDaniels. I mean, this is a young ass team, and this is a team that could stay together and be good for a while. And it could be a real problem for the association, even though the NBA does seem like it's encroaching closer to parity, because after the Warriors dynasty, I mean, was it the last including this year where there will be a new champion. The last 6 years, different champion every single year, which I think can be good. And it's just like the NFL. Like every single year, there are at least 4 teams that make the playoffs that didn't make the playoffs the year before. I think the Vikings will be one of them. I think they're going to shock a lot of people. And as the Wolves shown, it's okay to be good when you're young. And it's okay to turn things around quick because last year was a bit of a disaster. Injuries were a large part of the blame, yes, but also losing 6 out of 7 games down the stretch, many of them very winnable. They're just no bueno, man. And you look at the Wolves last year, game 82 when Gobert and Kyle Anderson were shoving each other in the huddle, and then also McDaniels busting his hand trying to punch a wall. Fast forward to 1 year, take a look at me now. That's right, and it's just what the Vikings can do, where you don't have to wait years. You don't have to have a long-ass competitive rebuild. This defense is ready to hunt. Brian Flores is going to build an FU defense, and he's going to absolutely bring the thunder. And whether it's McCarthy, whether it's Darnold, whoever's under center is getting the keys to a GD Ferrari, man. All of the weapons. Kevin O'Connell wants to play fast. He wants to throw the ball. Aaron Jones in the backfield, Ty Chandler now. Baby, this could be a top 5 offense, and I'm not talking about 5. And the defense could be top 10. I ain't talking about 10. So this team is going to shock a lot of people. Just like the Wolves. I mean, who had the Wolves on the radar as a championship contender before the start of the season? Not many. Not many. So, again, the Wolves asked, why not us? And you love the swagger that Anthony Edwards brings, the leadership that he brings at such a young age. And I see a lot of those same attributes in Justin friggin' Jefferson. And I think, and also J.J. McCarthy. So I think that the Wolves are going to come in. They're going to keep running with the ball from the Wolves. Wolves are going to win the title, and the Vikings are just going to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, why not us? Why not? Bring it, baby. But that's it. Raw Real Garage Rant. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, no production value.